There's definitely a solid chance that I'm going to go down as one of YouTube's biggest Subaru haters. This video is not about how much the 2023 Subaru Ascent sucks. What I'm about to talk about for the next minute or so is my own opinion on the Subaru Ascent, and then I'm going to give you a bunch of reasons why you may love it or partially hate it, like me. So, I've been known to bash Subaru not just because of their cars, but because of their sales and the culture in which people go in and buy Subarus. Typically, the typical Subaru customer goes in, doesn't bat an eye, needs that particular Subaru. When that first Subaru Ascent rolled out, I couldn't understand the demand behind it. I want to crack up so hard. I couldn't understand the demand behind it, and I was a little bit upset that people were paying over MSRP. And I'm not talking about back in like 2020 or 2021 during the pandemic. I'm talking about like 2019. And people were paying over MSRP, and I was just like, what are you doing? The other day, I got a comment saying how all of my videos seem to be promoting every single car, and I don't have a problem with any of the cars. Something along those lines. And it sucks because I don't delete comments yet. I couldn't find it. For some reason, YouTube pulled this comment. My friend, I really appreciate your comment, and let me tell you why you're 100% wrong. I'm about to tell you every reason why you like the Ascent, and I'm going to give you 3 strong reasons not to get it. What is happening, guys? Ari here from negotiationguides.com, and by clicking here or the link in the description below, you'll be able to get new and used vehicle pricing from dealerships in your local area. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing, because this whole channel is going to teach you everything you're going to need to know so that you can negotiate your best possible deal. You guys, let's get down to business. If you're wondering what's wrong with my voice, you guessed it. I've got it. I've got that particular illness that we all are pretty much scared about at this point. So, diving right into this list, you guys, what you'll love about the Subaru Ascent. It's made right here in the US of A. It's made in Indiana alongside the Legacy, the Outback, and the Impreza. What does this mean exactly? Should you be so proud that it's made in the US? Well, yeah, definitely. But more so, you should be happy at the fact that, okay, it's not coming from Japan. So hopefully turnaround time is a little bit faster. And seeing as though the United States is making an effort into producing their own semiconductors, this should mean that Subaru should be able to pump out cars a little bit faster than it was a couple years ago. Another cool feature that you love about the Subaru is that it has its own camera washer. This is a long time coming, you guys. Subaru is known to be like an outdoorsy, off-roading type of vehicle. I don't know why they didn't have this earlier, but finally we got it. It's somewhat like how Mercedes had the washers for the headlights. This is a rear camera washer. And it's been available actually for a little bit. I think it first came out on the Forester, but now it's available on the Ascent. Another couple features you'll love, Subaru wants to be a helping hand. It wants to help you out if you're in a car with busy children and a lot of stuff going on in the back of the car. It's going to help you out by giving you sort of a PA system called the Cabin Connect. Basically, you talk and it announces whatever you're saying through the speakers. Also, it's got a 360 and a trailer camera to help you out in showing you exactly what's around the car and what your proximity is like to your surroundings. Another thing about this Ascent, before I tell you something you're not gonna like, it's definitely not slow. With a 0 to 60 under 7 seconds and about 260 horsepower out of a 4-cylinder, it's definitely a little bit faster than its competitors. You're gonna notice that even some of its competitors with 6-cylinder engines are having 0 to 60 times over 7 seconds. So definitely props to Subaru for getting their performance dialed in so that it can actually compete with its competitors with a 4-cylinder. So something that you're not going to like at all about the Subaru Ascent, and if you're telling yourself you like it, you're flat out lying to yourself. The front end is a disaster. The front end looks like you got into a total loss accident and really you just pulled off with it from the dealership lot. It looks terrible. I don't know what the hell Subaru was thinking with this design. The way the grille and the headlight meet together, actually, it doesn't even seem like they did any thinking about it. It seems like they just took whatever new Nissan was out there and whatever new Toyota was out there, and they just merged the two and hope for the best in Photoshop or whatever software that they use to put this thing together. It just looks terrible. I thought that they did a pretty bad job with the WRX. They really put the icing on the cake with this Ascent. With that being said, you will love the fact that the back pretty much looks like the older Ascent. It hasn't really changed at all. And when you see it from the back, you'll almost wonder why did they do this? Why did they make the front so drastically different, but they kept the back exactly the same as what it was before? However, I do need to say that the overall shape of the car is very unique in the sense that it doesn't have those typical SUV proportions and dimensions. It very much looks like a Subaru when you look at its overall shape. And I love the fact that Subaru can keep this whole thing together, this whole character of Subaru's design together, and do their whole ugly thing in the front. It looks like a Subaru from the back still. Something that you'll hate, especially if you're going to be going out there and spending way over MSRP and waiting in line for a vehicle that quite honestly looks hideous, something that you'll hate is the fact that it doesn't feel like it's changed all that much. Between the design of the back and between the general design in the interior, besides the infotainment system, it really doesn't feel all that much more special. It feels more like a facelift gone wrong, than it does a redesign. It doesn't pull you in and say, hey, I'm fresh, I'm brand new, buy me. It just seems like a car that they just needed to just quickly just change so that they can compete with most of the market having brand new redesigns of their own. So something that you'll love, the outgoing Ascent had a 6.5-inch screen come standard. And right now, the 2023 Ascent is going to come with an 11.6-inch touchscreen standard. And what you'll really love about the touchscreen itself is that the buttons are humongous. You won't have to go fidgeting around and worrying about pressing the wrong button while you're driving when picking your selection from the touchscreen. They're massive buttons with very clear, detailed information, especially on the navigation. The navigation is being done by TomTom. So definitely a very clear display on the touchscreen, very big buttons, and overall just a very nice placement on the dashboard. Another thing you'll love, the interior looks so comfortable. It's plush. The seats look like they spent a decent amount of time and attention so that they're very comfortable, especially for you parents that are taking this thing out on a road trip. Not just the front seats, the back seats, the captain chairs in the middle row look like they're very comfortable as well. Looks like the leather quality is really good. I wouldn't mind taking a ride in this Subaru Ascent just to see exactly how comfortable the seats are. Another thing that you're probably going to love is how safe the Subaru Ascent is. Just basing this off of the previous accolades it's received from the IIHS, it's probably going to be one of those vehicles that are just right in line, right in the same category as the Volvo XC60, the whole Volvo lineup, quite frankly. Subaru has done a lot to make sure that this Ascent is at the upper echelon of safety. They made a lot of adjustments to the EyeSight safety suite. They actually added another camera right at the top of the windshield. I believe it's called the mono wide angle camera that will sense more in front of the car. So it'll sense more pedestrians, more cyclists, more vehicles, and it will enhance what the vehicle is detecting to be sort of an object that you might hit. Also, in situations where you may need to steer really fast or brake really hard, it will give you a little bit of help in the form of electric force. So if you need to thrust the wheel really hard, it'll give you an electric boost, making that steering a little bit easier to do, as well as the braking power, giving you a little bit of extra juice to really pump the brake when you need to use it. So lastly, something that you'll hate, it's not playing hard to get. It is hard to get. Subaru's having a very hard time pumping out vehicles, and when the Subaru Ascent rolls out, not only are they going to have a very hard time pumping them out, you're going to have a lot of people in line waiting for one. You're going to have a lot of people waiting to buy one way over MSRP. So by the time you actually get your hands on it for a decent price, it may take a couple of years, and then probably by that time, they'll probably do a full redesign how they should have on this one. Don't bash me for bashing the Subaru Ascent when you just bashed me for not bashing vehicles like that guy did a couple days ago. Just saying. If you're interested in getting pricing on new and used vehicles, by clicking here, you can connect with dealerships in your local area for pricing on those new and used cars. And if you found this information useful, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.